Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our Cooking for Wellness. We have in our kitchen Chef Jason Johnson and our dietitian Michelle Mills, and I'm Darlene. I'm the program manager with Cancer Support Community Central Ohio. We're very excited that you joined us tonight, and tonight Chef is going to be making oven roasted corn on the cob. He is making I have my recipes here, grilled salmon and a 4-bean salad. So Chef, I believe you said you're going to start with the corn?
I sure am. Good evening, everyone. Great to see everyone join us tonight. Excited about tonight because this is what I would call a great summer cookout type of dinner. It doesn't even have to be a special occasion. These recipes tonight are a great weeknight dinner or something that you want to invite friends over. If you did want to have, things are opening back up, so people are having a little bit more gatherings, and the weather's not, well, I don't know. I was going to say the weather's nice, but these are great, simple recipes that, and all these ingredients that you already probably have at home or that you can easily get from the grocery store. And so there's something light, something still healthy and nutritious, but something that's great and greatly flavored. Of course, we know it's the time of year for corn. You can go to your grocery store, you can go right in Giant Eagle, and the first thing that's going to meet you at the door is probably a big thing of fresh corn on the cob. You go to your local farmers market, you're probably going to see a huge lot of corn on the cob, and it's great to be able to have that, but maybe you don't have a grill. So I'm going to show you this oven roasted where you can still get a great flavor with the corn on the cob, even if you don't have a grill at home. And it's going to be, I'm going to give you a trick, because one of the things I know that become a nuisance when dealing with corn on the cob, and people would rather not, is these darn silks. The silks and getting all that off and getting them out the husk and all that kind of stuff. Well, let's take that out so you're not intimidated anymore, and you'll be more excited to get corn on the cob, buy corn on the cob, and be able to utilize it. So a small trick, we're going to roast this in the husk, because a lot of times that helps to lock in a lot of and make it tender. So, but an easy way to make this very quick, and we're going to roast it in the oven, but I'm going to cut down your time of roasting it in the oven, because what we're going to do is we're going to almost steam these in the husk in the microwave. And that'll help when you get ready to remove the husk, all the silks will immediately come right off. So I've taken a couple of them and put them in the microwave between about 5 minutes or so, about 5 minutes. 5 minutes, and so I cut the ends off, so this is what it looks like when you get it at the store. When selecting corn at the store, you want to make sure to know that you're getting a good quality corn on the cob. Make sure that the top is that it's nice and tight. You don't want to buy a corn cob where you have loose husk leaves or you have an opening at the top. You want it to be nice and tight, so that you know that there has been no damage to the corn inside. Second of all, so what I'm going to do is, this is nice and tight. I'm going to cut a little bit off the tip, and then a little bit up, and then the end. So now I've cut both ends off. Now, and then I placed them in the microwave for about 5 minutes. This kind of started a steam method with those in the husk, so that now we can just stick them right in the oven. You can put them on a baking sheet, or if you want to get that really nice roast on them, you can stick them right on the racks in your oven so that they don't fall through. Put them right in between.
My cousin raised corn in Pennsylvania, and she said the trick to getting sweet corn is to make sure you get some that are cold, that keep the corn cold.
Yes.
So I always feel the corn before I buy it. And if it's been sitting out room temperature all day long and isn't cold, I don't even buy it.
All right. So we got the corn there in the oven. It's going to nice and roast. It's going to continue to cook inside that husk. That husk is a protective barrier. I know what I used to do. I was doing a corn event, and it was like hundreds of corn on a cob. And what we did is we soaked them overnight. So when you're saying cold, we soaked them in cold water overnight. And that also helped. That helped when we put them on the grill, that they didn't just automatically burn. So it helped also to steam them too and get them nice and tender, because what happened is that you'll get the outside charred or burned if you're putting them on the grill, and then you're like, oh, they're done, and then you go open them up and they're still hard. So what we did is we soaked them so that those husks, in a sense, almost became saturated, and then when we took them out, say the next day, and put them on the grill, they cooked, the inside cooked, and then the outer husk did not burn. So that's another tip if you're grilling them. So while those are in the oven, we're going to make up something to give it some flavor, because you got it nice and locked in there. You're going to make it nice and tender. It's going to have a good flavor and stuff like that. But we're going to make a butter, what I call a compound or infused butter, to go with that. Instead of just putting on some butter and salt and pepper, let's add some flavor by adding some fresh herbs or so. I know, Michelle, like people wouldn't think that corn has any type of value, but
yeah, I know. That's usually what we think about it. And right, we're in Ohio, peas, corn, and potatoes are like our veggies, right? So we have to consider that corn is going to provide some carbohydrate. So it's not going to be as comparable from calorie and carb comparing it to, say, broccoli or cauliflower. So it's going to have about 19 grams of carbohydrate per serving, and that's the kind of like for a medium size, so like about 6-inch long of sweet corn. But we are still getting some fiber from that. So 2 grams is coming from fiber of that 19 grams, and we're getting about 6 grams from actual sugar. That it's just going to naturally happen. So it's still kind of a low or moderate glycemic index. So it kind of falls in the middle, which just means you're going to get an elevation in your blood sugar, but because of the fiber in it and the protein, it's not going to be as impactful. Still getting a little bit of protein, but it actually does have a fair amount of nutrition. So there's potassium, there's zinc, folate, phosphorus, and selenium. We do get some beta carotene, which is one of our A vitamins. And if we think about it, when we are in the process of digesting corn, it's going to help feed some of that good gut bacteria. And so they're looking at the relation of that process and the benefits of helping prevent colon cancer. So they are going to kind of help support that bacteria, which is going to produce some short chain fatty acids. And that's really that mechanism for prevention of colon cancer. So we still have to watch how much, but it is still something that's providing, something for our bodies. It's not just empty calories.
Well, that's good to know, because, it gets a rap because, for the longest, I remember growing up, everybody thought corn was, you'd have, like you said, you'd have potatoes, you have your protein, you'd have corn, because you thought that you were getting a vegetable.
Right.
But then, as you get older, you're like, it's a starch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we just have to watch the portion, because the calories are going to add up a little bit faster because it is a starchy veg, but, still ways to incorporate it and enjoy it in the summer. We don't get it very often.
Right.
And even think, we do popcorn maybe more throughout the year, and that's going to provide a decent source of fiber too. So you just want to get the whole, kernels and things like that. And maybe even different varieties of corn, especially in popcorn. You can get the multi-pack and pull in some, purple corn versus just your standard yellow corn.
You mean the extra butter movie theater flavor?
No, not the microwave popcorn, guys. More the air popped ones, because then you can season it yourself, right? Just how you're making your compound butter, we can season popcorn in different ways versus just what we get in a microwave option.
That's good to know, though. So
yeah,
I am making this compound butter. The good thing about a compound butter is you can literally make and add any type of ingredients and add into your butter. You can make this butter for the corn. You can make it for a steak. You can make it for some mixed vegetables, and just keep it on hand, because once you make this, it'll last. You refrigerate it and keep it nice and tight. I'll show you a way that we'll keep this and put it in some plastic wrap, keep it nice and tight. And then you can go back and you can actually portion off what you want at a time. So it's a good way to infuse flavor into things. And like I said, and not have to worry about so much sodium or salt, but you're adding a little bit of butter, and then you're adding some of these flavor factors in that. So in here, I have some softened butter. I just minced up some garlic. Now you can do all this in a food processor to make it easy. Put your garlic and what other herbs you're going to use, and get those nice and minced up. And then you can add your softened butter to now mix it all in together. I'm just doing it by hand. So I have my butter. I just had the stick of butter, set it out for at least an hour or two so it becomes softened and manageable. And then I'm just going to finally mince my basil, my garlic. We'll add a little bit of salt in there, and voila. And then we'll put it in a container, and you have your basil butter. And if you wanted to use some other, I've seen, I remember when I was in culinary school, we made compound butters, and you may put some lemon zest or some citrus, some orange zest in it, some ginger, orange zest. I'm just thinking off the top of my head, lemongrass. And then that could be like a nice Asian butter that you could use for anything. All right.
Yeah, and definitely adding a lot of flavor to the butter itself. You may not use as much too, right? We're kind of enhancing the profile here.
Exactly.
So Chef, if you already have a salted butter,
then I wouldn't add any, yes. But I always use unsalted butter for everything, because then you control the sodium.
Makes sense.
But if you happen to have already salted butter, then of course, don't add any other salt to it.
Did you add pepper?
You can add black pepper if you like, or white pepper. But I would, it's worth trying with a lot of different other things. You could chop up some green onions or chives and garlic or shallots, mince up some shallots and chives. And then now you have a shallot chive butter. So there's a lot of different combinations that you can add to make your own butter. You can do anything with it.
Now, how long can you keep it in the fridge, do you feel like, after you've kind of made the compound butter? Does it decrease the shelf life at all when we're adding things? Or
because you have that in there, so really if you have it nice and airtight, you can in a sense keep it in there. Like this butter here, you can pretty much leave it in there airtight and wrapped up for at least 2 weeks.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Can you freeze it?
Yes, you can definitely freeze it. Make it into like a log. I have some parchment paper here. I put it on there, and you can make it into what we call a log, and airtight, and then you can freeze it, and then you can just cut you off a little piece as you need it. Take my little spatula here. I'm just going to create a little basil butter log. I have it on my parchment paper here, and I'm just going to kind of roll away from me. Kind of press it a little bit, shape it. You want to get any air out. Oh, yeah, that's good. Nice and uniform. So now I'm just gonna take my ends here, twist them like a Tootsie Roll. Do the other end. And then I'm just gonna put that in the refrigerator so it can become solid again. And then you can take it out, you can wrap it in like plastic or in a airtight container, and then you can use it at your discretion. And you have an infused butter. Look how easy that was. And now you've added flavor to your butter. And you could have a couple of them. Maybe you make up a couple of them at one time of different flavors. Go ahead and roll them up, wrap them up, put them in the freezer. And then at any given time, now you have infused butters to go with anything. And that kind of livens up any of your dishes that you would normally put a little butter on. Maybe you make a sweet one. Maybe you make one with a little bit of cinnamon and ginger and allspice or nutmeg or something like that. And you make something, you can use that maybe for your waffles or your, pancakes, and you just have an infused butter already ready. Add a little honey to it. Voila, you have a sweet. So there's a lot of different things and versions that you could do with an infused butter.
Very good. Just like making your own dressing, right? You do it all
Exactly.
from home.
See, you don't have to get that stuff at the store.
And Chef Ann just shared great ideas.
Next time we're going to churn our own butter, right? We're going to take it to the next level.
Next class, I'll show you how to make your own butter.
There we go.
All you need is some heavy whipping cream. So these have only been in here for no time at all. Which you guys could see.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. Did steam it up.
I'm just going to flip them over just to make sure that they were able to roast on all sides.
How hot is the oven?
I have it at 375.
Thank you.
And the reason that I did it, a little higher is because you recall, I already in a sense steamed the corn when I put it in the microwave for about 5 minutes. So it's already in a sense gotten tender a little bit. We're just getting adding some nice flavor and finishing it the rest of the way here in the oven. So I would say about 15 to 20 minutes or so that you have it there in the oven. You should be able to pull it out. It should be nice, hot, tender, ready for that wonderful herb butter that you just made up and good to go. So while that's finishing and our butter is hardening, then we'll go ahead to our salmon. Nothing like a grilled salmon. Like I said, I think this is the time of year, like who turns the oven on this time of year? And I have a propane grill now. So any given moment, like a couple of days ago, I was just like, I don't really feel like cooking. I think I'm just gonna put a couple of things on the grill. And because I have a propane grill, all I had to do is go out there and turn a knob and do a couple of things on there. 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later, hey, was done. We were ready to eat dinner. So if you have a grill, if you have a charcoal grill, no worries, but there's something about that great flavor. And I know, Michelle, we talking about grilling and we might have talked about this before, but we understand that with charcoal grilling and the carcinogens and things like that, they're not always healthy.
Yeah, I think if we can, grill, utilizing, gas or electric, we're definitely gonna put our best foot forward. And if we're gonna because some people really enjoy that charcoal kind of flavor that it adds to it during that cooking process, just try to do that as rarely as possible. And even grilling inside too, using a stovetop grill plate, we can kind of pull that in the wintertime if we're fair weather grillers.
Like I have here.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
have a grill pan here
there we go.
that you can get at any of your local stores. When if you don't want to use a charcoal grill, or you don't have one, get you a good grill pan. This is a cast iron grill pan, and I mean, doesn't cost much at all. You can even go to Walmart or so, I think, and get one, Target or something like that, and get a
Sure.
grill pan, and then you can have your own grill experience right indoors at any given time of the year. So what I'm doing here is when you're dealing with fish, matter of fact, if you're dealing with any protein, it's always best to make sure that you have, and I'm just got a paper towel here to make sure that I've dried it off, that there's no moisture on the exterior. A lot of times people, especially when it comes to fish, that they're intimidated by it, or it doesn't come out right, or whatever the case may be. Or if you're doing a chicken breast, sometimes people are like, oh, I don't get that good sear or the good browning. Well, a lot of times there's extra moisture on the exterior that causes a barrier, in a sense, from when you are trying to sear something off and get that nice, especially or grill marks, or even if you're just searing it in a pan, period. So make sure you've taken like a paper towel or so, just kind of blotted that off to make sure that it's nice and dry. Then we'll add a little bit of olive oil, and you can use dry, but also this time of year, a lot of people are planting fresh herbs. And here, shameless plug, here at Cancer Support, we have a couple of pots of some nice fresh herbs that I literally just went out and picked. I have some lemon thyme. If you have never had lemon thyme, we're all familiar with thyme, and thyme has notes of lemon, but there's actually an actual version that's called lemon thyme, and it's so fragrant. Like, just when I picked it a minute ago, the fragrance of it was just phenomenal. So of course it's going to really make your whatever you put it on great. And there's nothing like fresh grown herbs. You can just put in pot. You don't have to have a whole lot of space. Get you some small pots and put those some of those starter ones in there, and just keep them alive. I have some lemon thyme. I have some rosemary. I'm gonna have some garlic here, and we're gonna make this. I'm gonna put a little bit of olive oil, and in a sense now I've made like a herb oil that I can rub over my salmon.
Yeah, and I know we kind of talked about this last time about incorporating different herbs and spices, and more specifically herbs, because there's definitely a lot of more research going into the medicinal aspects of these types of things. Because think about it, there are plants just like our fruits and vegetables. So we're trying to see what else the benefits could be. But again, it's a way to add a lot of flavor versus relying on just adding salt all the time. But we're looking at thyme specifically just in any type of benefits for hypertension, so elevated blood pressure, seeing anything potentially for that, and kind of seeing where that goes. So it has some anti-properties with that as a benefit.
I didn't know that. So thyme can help reduce hypertension or your blood pressure.
It can, yeah. So it can benefit. I mean, it's not, don't take your medicine, but again, if there's other ways that we can help support overall health from the foods that we're selecting, while we're adding flavor, adding up some other benefits is always a good thing.
I'm just going to sprinkle with a little bit of salt, because salt enhances flavor.
Right.
So we're just going to add just a tad to the exterior of this. I took a little bit of olive oil, some of my herbs, a little minced garlic, and I just mix it all up here. And then we'll just add that to our salmon here. And this is going to add a really nice flavor to our salmon, especially once it hits that grill. Those fresh herbs will just bloom. And like Michelle said, you don't have to rely so much on salt. because you've gotten all the flavor from everything else.
Yeah. And just remember, we always want to make sure we're trying to do more fish and seafood in our diet, ideally twice a week is what we're looking for. So we want to take that intimidation away from preparing fish on a regular basis.
So Michelle, would any fish be part of that diet, or should you be looking for those that are high in the omega-3s?
So definitely a variety. You still want to focus in on, like, if we're focusing on whitefish, like halibut, grouper, sea bass, even on occasion is always something, or mahi, just because
Oh,
they're
my
gonna
favorite
have,
fish.
right? I feel like they have a good texture. They're still a lean protein. When we compare those to our fatty fish, again, they're going to incorporate the omega-3s. Whitefish is not going to do that compared to your salmon, mackerel, and tuna. But we're still going to get the benefits of it, they all being a lean protein.
And Chef, we have a question. Anne asked, did you brush the herbs only on the top surface?
I did for right now, yes, because that's where the meat of it is. That skin side of it is going to act as what I call it's going to lock in everything. So I only put it on the side where you're most likely going to be eating the meat of the fish. So I start this off what I call flesh side down. Oh man, it smells great already. So I start flesh side down. And the reason I usually start flesh side down is because I want to lock in all the flavors and the tenderness of the fish. So once I do that, once it hits that hot pan and that oil, and like I said, by making sure that I've wiped away or dried any moisture, now that's going to create that barrier, and you have the skin on the other side. That now it's going to lock in all the moisture and make a nice tender piece of salmon. Contrary to popular belief, you can actually eat your salmon like you eat your steak. So you can have a piece of salmon that's cooked medium. It keeps it nice and moist and nice and tender. So I'm going to probably have this on this side for about 2 minutes, just enough to lock in the flavors, just enough to get a nice browning on it, get some nice grill marks on there. Then I'm going to flip it over to the other side to kind of crisp that skin up. And if you've rinsed that off really good and dried it pretty good, the skin, once it crisps up nice, it's also edible. I mean, you want to make sure there's no scales on it. You know, if you've gotten it gotten it fresh from the fish market or so, you know, you can make sure they've gotten it cleaned up real good, but it really is really good. So I have that nice and pressed down because I want those grill marks. And you can watch the salmon. People always know, well, how do I know when the salmon is done? You can watch it as it's cooking because it was that pink flavor color. And as it cooks, you'll see it almost as it goes up the salmon on the side, you'll see it start to turn, I won't say white, but a lighter pink.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you can tell as it's cooking, thoroughly cooking through. And the way these herbs and things are smelling is amazing. So.
Yes, and we want to thank Helping Hands in the Garden for donating those pots of fresh herbs to us through the program that they did with us earlier. So we're very thankful to be a recipient of some fresh herbs from them.
Awesome. Really nice herbs out there too. Check on our corn.
Making my favorite meal.
I know. I wish I was in person tonight versus the calf liver.
Corn and the salmon.
Mm-hmm.
We usually have potato with it. I usually have sweet potato with it.
Good option.
All right. And we'll check our salmon. And remember, like I mentioned to you guys every time, let the salmon or the chicken or whatever it is you're searing, let it be your guide. If it's not ready, it'll tell you, hey, I'm not ready. um, but let it release easily. That's how you'll know that it's right and it's ready to turn. If you go to pull or try to flip it and it's still sticking to the pan, leave it alone. You're not going to burn it. It's letting you know, hey, all those proteins haven't secured yet. Those protein molecules have not secured yet, and I need a little bit more time. So got a nice grill mark here. The problem is my pan is square and my salmon pieces are long. So it's hard for me to get my spatula. Perfect.
So
All
Jason, do you cook it longer on the flesh side versus the skin side?
Yes, I
Okay.
do. So now we got it on the skin side. We'll let it finish on there. Oh yeah, it's pretty much almost done because I did let it, it was probably about 3 minutes or so on that flesh side.
Mm-hmm.
Now, once you finish, it should kind of now meet in the center. Like I said, you can eat salmon at about a medium temperature. Of course, if you like it a little bit more done, you can leave it on there. Or this is the point where some people stick it in the oven
And finish it, yeah.
cook through there. So you can definitely do that.
Nice.
While this is happening, our corn is out. And we'll start green bean salad. I know this is probably not, or I'm sorry, our 4-bean salad. This is probably not new to anyone. As far as a 4-bean, 5-bean, I don't even know how many versions.
However you want, right?
8-bean salad. I'm sure some of you on this have had many different versions of this salad. We're doing 4 beans today. And we're going to start. We have some green beans, some fresh green beans. We're going to blanch these because any fresh green beans, you don't want to just put them in there what we call raw. Blanching them means that we're just going to put them in some boiling hot water just to tenderize them a little bit. And then we're going to only leave them in there for about a minute or so. And then we're going to pull them out and immediately put them in some ice water. What that does is tenderizes them, but it also livens them up. It brightens them up. You're going to get a really nice, bright, vibrant green color, and also a good flavor. I've salted my water so that, like I said, as this is blanching, it's going to also give it a little bit of flavor.
Yeah, so green beans are actually a pretty dense vegetable nutrient-wise. So one of the main things in our green veggies is our vitamin K. So we have to be aware if somebody was on any type of like blood thinner on maybe the volume of green beans that somebody eats. But vitamin K is there for blood clotting, but we also have to remember that it's good for our bone structure. So it's not just calcium and vitamin D. We need that vitamin K as a benefit as well to reduce the risk of osteoporosis. So vitamin K kind of gets left out in that equation, but just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention with green beans specifically.
All right, so while our green beans are blanching real quickly, we're going to make what we call almost like a little dressing for this. So we're using a little bit balsamic. I'm using white balsamic. I'm using white balsamic because with this nice green, bean salad, white balsamic is not as strong or pungent as regular balsamic. It's a little bit milder, a little bit sweeter, and so it'll go really good with this. And it won't, because it's lighter in hue, then it'll read a nice light salad instead of sometimes that the regular balsamic, because it's dark, it can kind of mute the beauty of the rest of the salad. So I just have some white balsamic, got some
Honey.
garlic, granulated garlic, a little bit of honey to balance out the acidity, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and then whisk. That's all that's in there.
So Jason, one of our beans of choice for tonight.
And we're gonna add a little bit of olive oil, almost like a vinaigrette. We've done a vinaigrette recipe a lot of times. So, as you may be asking, well, you're not measuring. Well, because
Yeah,
Because you know.
I've made vinaigrettes, I don't know how many times in life. And we've made several vinaigrettes in the last several years. So amazing to say, the last several years, I've been with cancer support now for 3 years. So
Wow,
I'm honored in to be able to say that.
that's awesome.
All right, so we've made our little vinaigrette, and now this is the fun part. Everybody in the pool. I have some chickpeas,
Mhm.
nice and rinsed. You want to make sure you rinse those chickpeas once you drain them. Matter of fact, all of your beans, if you're using any canned beans, make sure
Yeah.
that you rinse them off, drain them and rinse them off, because especially like black beans, they have that kind of like gray color or whatever to it. Rinse that off because you don't want to mess the beauty of this salad up. You can use kidney beans. I'm using cannelli beans because they're basically white kidney beans.
Beans.
You can
Mhm.
use regular kidney beans if you like that red color, because I also think you should eat with your eyes as much as anything else. So
Mhm.
if you want some red kidney beans to bring a whole nother level of color to this, you can most definitely do that.
Mhm.
So we have
Yeah.
those in there. We're gonna check our green bean, nice vibrant green. So now we're gonna drain them.
Chef,
so-
I'm sorry, Michelle, go ahead.
That's okay. I was just going to say, with your beans, remember they're going to be a great source of fiber, which is beneficial for lowering cholesterol, because that fiber we don't digest fully. So it's going to actually kind of bind to the fat and cholesterol in our bodies and help reduce that. And then beans that we want to think about is that because of the fiber and does have like what we call like a resistant starch to it, they actually act as a prebiotic. Okay, so all of the focus is on probiotics, but the prebiotics is what the probiotics actually utilize for food. So we want to make sure that we're including that into our gut health regimen as well.
All right, so we have our, so what happens is by shocking, what we call shocking them, our green beans, it one, stops the cooking process by taking them and putting them immediately in ice water. It cuts down so that they don't continue to cook. But they're nice and tender, they're nice and vibrant green. I'm just cutting off some of these ugly tips or ends of the green beans that I can see once I blanch them. And really, this is all there is to it. If you want to add a little garlic to it, we're going to add some peppers and onions to this and make a nice, colorful salad. But with a bean salad, you know, we mentioned, I was joking, but there's many versions of this because there's a lot of different types of beans out there, whether you use kidney beans, whether you use, there's all kind of, I seen some other beans when I was in the store. I was like, that might be good. Butter beans.
Butter beans, fava beans.
I would like to hear anybody in the chat who's had some different bean salads, or you've made different bean salads, and what kind of versions have you had or made?
would you use lima beans?
You could use lima beans.
Maybe even
No,
wax
lima beans should be outlawed.
Oh,
Oh, no.
Or not.
No, and they're great with corn. They're great with corn.
I heard lima beans are really good for you, though.
yeah.
Ooh,
They're good. They're actually a great source of protein, and they're actually more of like what we consider a complete protein. So they have all the 9 essential amino acids, where our other beans don't have those all of the 9 amino acids. So
Ooh, see?
have a little succotash next time, right?
oh, no. I am not a convert, sorry.
Oh, Michelle, she is not swayed. She has not been
No,
persuaded.
not happening.
Mm.
I tend to see wax beans as well versus just doing green beans or doing yellow beans or something like that even.
You know, I have never had a wax bean because I probably have never realized what is the purpose of a wax bean.
To make what a 6-bean salad next time.
Darlene, I can't believe you haven't had or made any versions of a bean salad.
Oh, I have many a times, but it's usually like just a 3-bean salad with the green beans, the wax beans, and the yellow beans. So I'm very excited about incorporating some of the other beans into this, into my repertoire.
Yeah. That we incorporate some more legumes versus just kind of standard string beans.
Right.
Yeah.
So, all right, now we'll add, and I'm using 2 different peppers because, you know, you want to bring some color to this. So a little red bell pepper, little yellow red pepper. I mean, you can use any that you want. But like I said, I just like the color of it. And I'm going to just cut some little strips because it adds a nice feel so that you're able to get all of that pepperness. I just made that up. Pepperness. Yep.
Pepperness. We can
I
go
like
with it.
Little pepperness.
Yeah. And so obviously, like Chef said, adding more color, obviously it's more pleasing to the eye, but remember with different colors means different nutrients. So again, that's why we want to eat the rainbow as much as we can. So we have reds, yellows, maybe doing like purple green beans. They
Yes.
don't, after you cook them, they turn green, but originally they are purple. So that's always something fun to see.
That was like some I just cooked some purple asparagus earlier today for my clients, and of course as they're cool when you're looking at them because they're purple, but then as you start to cook them, then they change. So
Are they different in any other way besides the color?
I'm not sure.
I honestly, I don't think so. I mean, with purple, you get a little bit more of different like phytochemicals that you might find like in blueberries. But the density of it, I couldn't tell you right offhand.
Yeah, I don't think so. Like
Yeah.
then there's white asparagus. I've
Mhm.
done things with white asparagus before. I don't know. I mean, they taste a little bit, white asparagus does taste a little bit different than your regular asparagus, but as far as anything else, I'm not sure if there's any different.
Yeah, I think we're getting more to like the botanical difference more than anything else.
Oh, is that red onion?
Mm-hmm.
Little red onion. Because now we're adding colors, we're adding nice little bite flavor
Mm-hmm.
with the red onion.
And this is the way to add in some texture because our beans can kind of be mushy.
Yep. And it's exactly what I said. Everybody in the pool. And this is something you can make ahead of time. And then dress it. I would dress it maybe the day of, maybe a couple hours before, so that dressing can soak in. But you can have everything mise en place. Ooh. I'm gonna add a little more black pepper. But this looks fun. It looks festive. I love these colors. I'll show you guys.
Oh
It's
my.
very
That
nice.
looks good.
Yeah, it does look good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looks so healthy.
Uh-huh.
And don't tell anybody.
Oh, that's how it works here. I know.
We just have everybody try it.
We try it first and then we say, hey, that was healthy.
And then they decide they don't like it.
Right. Exactly. So there's that. Our salmon's done. Let's look at our butter. Ooh, it's nice and solid. Solid as a rock.
Dinner and music.
Wow, dinner show tonight. I like it.
So I'll show you guys my nice butter log.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't see the herbs in
That
that.
looks good. I love
It
the
does.
herbs, yeah.
So you can, like we said, you can do this with any type of herbs or, like we said, sweet versions, and just keep a couple of them in your refrigerator and use them at your discretion. We got our corn here. Let's look how easy we should be able to pull our have all those outer layers.
I can see all this as even leftovers, like taking the corn off the cob, adding it to the bean salad and shredding some
Ooh,
salmon in it, and then topping that over some lettuce, or like lettuce cups with it.
now you're being
Mhm.
creative, Michelle.
Yeah, thank you. Every once in a while. Now there might not be leftovers, especially with corn, but just in case.
I'm gonna say there usually, when there's corn on the cob, there usually isn't any leftovers.
No, not necessarily.
So we can take our wonderful, ooh, look at that. It just melts right on the cob. And put our nice basil butter. I think I just like saying basil butter. Little basil butter on there. And there's our flavor to our corn.
Mhm. That's good.
Now, if I was,
Hey, Jason, I think I like to put rosemary instead of basil in the butter.
yeah, that would be good too.
Mm-hmm. Can you mix them both?
Yeah,
Yeah.
put a little rosemary and basil in there. Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think about using plant-based butter?
You should probably be able to still do the same thing.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, it has the same kind of texture.
Yeah, I think you'll still be fine because it's still quote unquote butter. Not parquet. Don't try this with margarine though. I'm telling you, please, nobody.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it. Any questions about anything? That's our I'll show you our salmon in my grill pan.
You can also use French beans, right?
Yeah. Oh, that looks good.
Oh, nice.
Ooh,
Really
yummy, yummy, yummy.
Mm-hmm.
So this quick, really great weeknight, weekend, just the two of you, just the 6 people, however many, but something very quick and easy that you can do. And you don't have to feel guilty about it. It's all nice and nutritious. It's light, and you're able to walk away with something good.
Absolutely.
That looks great.
So what type of salmon did you use?
This was just a regular, I think it was a farm raised piece of salmon.
Okay.
Did it have bones that you had to remove?
No.
Mm-mm.
Yay.
Let's see if I was to plate up our green bean salad. I keep calling it green bean salad. It's 4 beans.
And green beans are in there, so you're not wrong.
That's true.
I don't have any special garnish today, guys.
Did you sneak paprika in anywhere?
That's what I was gonna say, Michelle. Probably on the salmon.
Yeah, that you could add that. That would be good on your corn.
Happen to have it right here.
Oh,
Little smoked paprika to finish off the bean salad.
Wow.
I'm not going to put it on the corn. I would put it on the corn, but
you
because I have,
could, yeah.
but because I have a basil butter,
Yeah.
then I won't put it on the corn. But
That'd have been interesting.
Ooh,
Oh,
that
that
looks
looks
really good.
Yes.
Nice.
actually, if I'm not doing like a herb butter, when I make corn, I made some the other day actually, and I mix a little bit of Cajun seasoning, a little bit of smoked paprika, and garlic, and I did put that on my corn on the cob.
That sounds good too, yeah.
So you can definitely do all kinds of things. And that's the fun thing, especially corn on the cob. If there's going to be plethora of it all summer, try it with different flavor profiles so you don't feel like you're having the same corn every week.
Okay.
And another version, I made, matter of fact, my family had a cookout memorial. I made a Mexican street corn salad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I took my corn, I roasted it, and then I took it off the cob and little lime juice and garlic and onion, little granulated onion, and a little bit of mayo and Greek yogurt, and mix that up, and some cojita, cheese, and it was great. They loved it, and a little cilantro, and mixed it all up together, and it was pretty good.
Yeah. Mm.
Well, thank you so very much, Chef and Michelle. Greatly appreciate you guys sharing your expertise and extra ideas tonight. I was busy taking notes.
Yes, I'll be going for the recipes. That was great. Thank you, Michelle and Chef Jason.
You're welcome. Please, like always, make sure you guys let us know if you try any recipes at home. Share them. We want to start utilizing our social media more, cancer support. So if there's a recipe that you make at home, take a picture of it, email it to Darlene or to Angie, so that we can maybe post it on our Facebook page or Cancer Support Instagram page, so that we can show what we're doing with Cooking for Wellness.
Okay.
Well, Chef, right before we got started, Kathy was sharing with us that she rinses her chickpeas, lays them out so they get a little dry, and then she roasts them in the oven at 400 for 20 minutes with a little bit of olive oil. So I was excited to learn something new tonight before class even started.
And they're a great snack. You can add some smoked paprika to them.
It goes good that way. Paprika and garlic, they're fantastic.
And you can have a nice little snack, instead of like peanuts or something like that. You can or you can use them at the restaurant I used to run. We used to they were a topping for one of our salads.
Yeah, instead of croutons. Yeah. Great way to add some crunch.
Yep.
Great.